Welcome to the Dental Breakdown Show. This show is where we break down issues in the dental marketplace. My name is Christian White, CEO of White & Associates Practice Consulting, Better Business, Better Dentistry. All right, Zach. The next piece I think we want to talk about is the most overlooked piece in real estate. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the lease renewal.
You got it, my friend.
Most people, they get this piece of paper from their landlord and they just sign it, and it's just like, you know, and forget about it, not knowing that it's probably cost them a bunch of money. And so why don't you go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, one of the things that I consistently see across the board and that we see across the country is healthcare providers basically looking at the lease renewal like a box check. Like, it's just something that we don't really need to strategically think about that much because we've been in a location for a certain amount of years. We're actually happy with where we're at. We don't necessarily want to stay. And our doctors are happy, our patients are happy, and our board of directors are happy because we're profitable. But at the end of the day, what they're missing is that because they're a blue chip tenant, they have the opportunity to be able to get a large amount of concessions and different concessions than somebody else would because of what they represent in healthcare and being such a blue chip tenant. And so the story that I was sharing earlier about one of my providers that I work with that has multiple sites, you know, if they wouldn't have looked at the relocation potential when their lease renewal came up, they would have missed out on not only a better location and saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they would have been in a place that was older, needed more of a refresh, and really wasn't as a specialized and good place for not only their doctors, but for their patient care. So lease renewals is one of those things that really needs to be a top priority, especially now when we're still kind of coming out of COVID and we're trying to figure out what that looks like. COVID hit so many businesses and even some practitioners really, really hard from a financial standpoint. So I think it's even more important right now to be looking from a strategic standpoint of how can we save money and really kind of stretch that dollar. And lease renewals is one of the best ways to be able to stretch that dollar and really put your practice in I would say, with the best foot forward going into the next 5 to 10 years. And it's simply just often overlooked because people are like, hey, we've been here for a while, we're happy, we can make the payments, it's a necessary evil. And what I need to focus on is trying to save 2 more cents on a box of gloves and trying to, keep overtime at a minimum. And what they need to be doing, if they can, is focusing on those things, but also focusing on, well, how could we reduce the amount that we pay in our base rent by $2 to $3 a square foot? You know, going back to the example of an average practice being around 3,000 square feet. Or how do we get more free rent the next time that we have a lease renewal coming up? Or how do we get more TI dollars to be able to refresh a space? And it's all those different type of components that go into the lease negotiation that I think often has the decision makers kind of being like, nope, let's just sign. I don't want to deal with it. But that's why you hire somebody like myself whose only sole job is to do that and provide that service for them. And the other thing is this, Christian, is we don't cost our clients any money. A lot of times, one of the things that our clients will ask us is, well, how much do you cost? Are you like a percentage of the overall cost, or do I pay you a flat rate? And no, you don't pay us anything. The way that we are paid is very similar to a residential real estate transaction, where the owner or the landlord sets aside, let's say, approximately 6% for that transaction, and 3% is going to go to their listing agent. The other 3% is set aside for the incoming tenant's representation. And so that is the way that it works when it comes to commercial real estate. And a lot of times clients are confused and they don't understand that, but my commission is completely separate from this transaction. And so we work for you for free. We negotiate that separately with the landlord or the owner for the space that they're interested in.
See, now that's really good to know that, because I think most people don't know that. The first
Yeah,
thing they're going to say is, well, how much do you cost? Of course, that's what every business owner does, just because that's just what you do. Because
bottom line.
yeah, bottom line, man. That was great. Thank you for breaking that down. I don't think most, like I said before, most people don't know that. So let me go back 1 second. So the concessions that you can get for a tenant, talk
Yep.
to me a little bit more, maybe a little bit more specifically about that. I mean, I think there's some improvements to the space that they get, and I think you can go beyond that.
Yeah, so when we look at a location for a healthcare provider, and we're looking to do, let's say, a 5 to 10-year lease term, we're looking at multiple things. We're looking at not only tenant improvement allowance, but we're also looking at the base rent, and we're looking at market comps, which is hyper important when we're looking at leasing. One of the things that landlords look at is, if you just ask for a proposal from a landlord and you're doing, let's say, a lease renewal, they're like, they don't know what they're doing. Most likely they're just going to kind of take what, more or less I give them. The landlord maybe gives a few little concessions, but they know that they're saving tens, if not, thousands of dollars within the transaction because the provider isn't doing, I would say, their due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
And so making sure that you're getting the proper amount of TI allowance, making sure that you're getting the correct base rent based upon the location and the building that you're looking at, and then the amount of free rent. Each landlord that we work with is different as far as their palette for wanting to get a healthcare provider within their space. And I've seen across the country, some landlords, when you have like a larger tenant that might be incoming, give up to 12 months of free rent as an incentive to wanting them to come to their location. So it's kind of a kind of across the board, but those are three of the things that you really want to make sure that you have in place when you are looking at a lease negotiation.
The Dental Breakdown Show, sponsored by White & Associates Practice Consulting. Better business, better dentistry. They are a practice management consulting firm for dentists and other healthcare-related businesses. Their sole purpose is to implement proven strategies through online and in-practice visits and result in the personal and professional success of the dentist and his or her team.
This is Zachary Lee, healthcare real estate agent with CARR Inc. CARR is the nation's leading provider of commercial real estate services for healthcare tenants and buyers. We help providers save time, money, and avoid costly pitfalls. We do this through education, representation, and developing expert teams of resources for our clients to receive the most favorable terms for their next real estate lease or purchase. Contact us at carr.us for help with your next real estate transaction.
I think most business owners, can probably do better than they think they can. They just have to, kind of move forward and explore that a little bit more. Because I know in the dental space, most dentists, they just cite it and it's just like, okay, whatever. I just need to go back to op number 2 and finish my crown. And that's what we've been trained to do. I get it, but that's an important piece that obviously it's can save you a lot of money.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things too when it comes to negotiation is everything's negotiable.
Yes.
And it's important. A lot of people don't like negotiation. It's maybe a dirty term like sales, but sales is, we're selling and buying stuff every single day, and negotiations happen every day. I'm negotiating with my 5-year-old more than I would like to. And I'm typically losing. So maybe I need to read a book or something, but he's pretty good. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like negotiating. And when I would say in any high stakes negotiation where there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, what you end up seeing is things, I don't want to say are contentious, but there's a different feel to that than, a transaction that is worth, let's say, $1,000. And because of those high stakes, it's important to know that landlords are very savvy, and a lot of them know that, hey, if I make this maybe a little bit uncomfortable, maybe I'm able to save 20 grand. Maybe I'm able to save $10,000. And that's not necessarily bad on them. This is business and it's not personal. And that's why I think it's so important to hire representation where, we're expert negotiators and we understand, let's say, the game, and we level that playing field so that, when that happens, it doesn't rattle us. We understand that this is just kind of the way that this might go, and that's okay. And it's not personal. And we're here to take care of our clients as best as possible because our fiduciary is only to our client. That's why we're only tenant and buyer with representation.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're there to really level the playing field and also simultaneously negotiate on multiple properties so that when we are in those negotiations, if a landlord is becoming unreasonable, we're able to cut bait and say, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but we have this other location that is just as good. And the landlord is actually easier to work with. They're giving us more concessions. And so I think we're going to go over there. When that happens, it changes the demeanor and the interaction with that other landlord. Because then they're like, oh man, I'm actually gonna lose this. And so I've seen that happen time and time again as well. So the posturing, the leverage, it really comes down to hiring a specialized person, an expert for representation, and then just understanding that you need to simultaneously negotiate on multiple properties.
Mm-hmm. The Dental Breakdown Show, sponsored by White & Associates Practice Consulting, Better Business, Better Dentistry. They are a practice management consulting firm for dentists and other healthcare-related businesses. Their sole purpose is to implement proven strategies through online and in-practice visits that result in the personal professional success of the dentist and his or her team. If I am a dermatologist, I am an optometrist, I am a dentist, I am a small healthcare business owner, I need representation. Why do I hire Zach Lee?
I think so you can keep doing your job. That might sound very basic and but it's very, very true.
True.
The best thing that providers can do as we're coming out of COVID is focus on doing what they do best. And that is being in the office, providing excellent healthcare for their patients, and making sure that they're able to keep running their business and keeping it open. Our job is to help represent the needs of our clients as well as possible. And it's really helping that provider save time, money, and again, avoiding costly mistakes. And I think one of the things that I want to convey, Christian, is this. I think sometimes because providers or clinic administrators are such highly successful, highly motivated people who are great at problem solving, and they're used to being in control, I think a lot of times when they think about hiring representation, they view it like they're giving up control. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Really what we're doing is we're helping educate you along the process and helping really you make the process go faster because you have informed decisions. We're helping you understand what the marketplace is. We're properly negotiating a lease on your behalf, but you're the decision maker, and you also are the person who's going to control the tempo and the pace of the transaction. So that's always really, really important to understand when we're providing representation for our providers is that you are still in control. We are just doing this service on your behalf because we're better at it and we're going to be faster at it. But you are still making all of the decisions at the end of the day. And we're just here basically to walk with you and help you understand what's available and where the opportunities are.
Mm-hmm. Well put.
Thank you.
That was great. Zach, thank you so much for being a guest on the Dental Breakdown Show today.
Thank you, Christian. Have a great day.
You too. For all of our listeners, if they would like to learn more about you or contact you directly, how can they go about doing that?
Absolutely. So if you go to CARR.us, that's CARR.us, you're able to go to the CARR's national website to be able to look at agents within your area that are able to help provide healthcare services for you. It kind of gives just a huge overlay of all the different things that we do within CARR. Also, you can contact me directly at zachary.lee@carr.us. You can also call me directly if you would prefer to at 612-916-4336.
Thank you for listening today. I'm Christian White, CEO of White & Associates Practice Consulting, Better Business, Better Dentistry. If you would like more information on today's topic, you can contact us at whitedentalconsulting.com/breakdown. Keep those teeth white and see you next time on the Dental Breakdown Show.